In a world of 350 billion movie podcasts, two chumps have decided that now is the time for cult movies to engage in combat. Disagreements will be had, blood may be spilled, and voiceover artists most definitely will not be paid. This is Cult Film Face-Off.
Hello and welcome to episode 11 of Cult Film Face-Off. With me as always, Chet Roivas.
Yo.
My name is Nick Leonard. This episode we look at two sequels featuring the charmer behind the Shatner mask, Michael Myers. We are of course talking about Halloween. First up, Halloween 2. After the atrocities of Halloween night, Laurie Strode is taken to Haddonfield Hospital. Little does she know, however, that Michael Myers is once again in hot pursuit.
I shot him 6 times. I shot him in the heart. This man, he's not human.
Universal Pictures presents Halloween 2. More of the night he came home.
Who is it?
There was nothing within him, neither conscience nor reason, that wasn't even remotely human. This is some kind of a joke. I've been trigger-treated to death tonight. You don't know what death is.
Halloween 2. More of the night he came home.
Chet, have you seen it before?
I saw it when I was a kid, very soon after I first saw the original, and I at the time thought that Halloween 2 was way better than Halloween 1. I don't necessarily think that now. Have you seen it before?
I think that you probably needed to go and be sectioned on something if you'd ever thought that was the case.
Yeah.
Halloween 2, I've never seen Halloween 2.
Okay.
It's a feature film debut by Rick Rosenthal.
Yeah.
Novice filmmaker.
Yep.
It's a novice filmmaker through and through. I mean, for me, it's a complete imitation job. It's an imitation job of what Carpenter did on the original. It's got none of the wit, none of the tension, none of the class or beauty that Halloween had. It is a pure cash-in job. It was lazy.
Yeah, cash is the right word because you can sense that everybody involved wants some of that Halloween cash. They're like, they want it. How do we get this Halloween cash? But everyone seems to have forgotten how to make a movie. The opening is really strange. I mean, it gets off to a weird start because it's a redo of the end of the first film. They show you the end of the first film, but they change the music and they use music that's really ineffective. And I thought maybe they didn't get the right. I didn't realise at this point that John Carpenter actually wrote the script and had a hand in the production, because I thought maybe they didn't get the rights to the original Halloween music. And then they roll the credits over a cover version of the music. So that was fun. But I thought it was weird. Why would you take out one of the most important elements of the first film to show the end of the it seems completely and utterly bizarre. That's when I knew something was wrong. I really like the idea of a sequel that's set immediately after the first film. I think the only successful examples are probably Back to the Future 2 and Crank 2. I couldn't think of any other examples of films that follow on directly that work really well. Michael Myers' first appearance is excellent. There is a great cut where basically he's walking into this house to steal a knife from this old couple, and you haven't seen him yet, and he watches as there's a broadcast about what's happened previously in the evening, and it cuts to him just standing in the background. I was like, whoa! That's a really lovely moment. The film
That's one of the only lovely moments in the film.
Never lives up to that moment. That tiny little jolt of energy when you see him for the first time, nothing compares to that, to the whole rest of the film.
I mean, literally, the whole of this film takes place in the location of the hospital. There are movies that do, the lion's share of their action in a hospital and do it really, really well. The best example that I can think of this is Nightmare City. If you want to see how to do a really good horror film in a hospital, watch Umberto Lezzi's Nightmare City. That is how to use a hospital location to the best effect, I think. It is sterile, it has no tension. Michael Myers in that hospital, he pops up. There's no stalk and slashing. He pops up and then he kills people.
It essentially goes down from that moment that I discussed. It goes downhill so fast because the next thing you see after that moment, I think, is Laurie Strode being taken away on a stretcher, and Jamie Lee Curtis has blonde hair.
It's a weave.
Are they not going to?
No, it's a weave. I mean, she's wearing a ridiculous weave throughout the whole film.
But why? But why would they change the character's hair in the same?
There's no need. There's no need, because what they spent a lot of time doing is, in terms of the colouring, in terms of the director trying really, really hard to mimic Carpenter. It looks genuinely, in terms of grading and everything, like it does continue from the first film.
That's because it's Dean Cundy. It's still the same. It's still John Carpenter's cinematography, which is why it still looks so classy. Because I mean, this film does look cinematic, even when absolutely jack shit's happening, and it does have an air of polish and class about it. Because Dean Cundy is a fucking great cinematographer, so it does share the look. With the first film.
What I find stupefying about this is this is a hospital, right, which has literally hardly anybody working or being overnight patients. Yeah. There is no overnight patient apart from Jamie Lee Curtis in this fairly substantial hospital.
Yeah, it's just like an empty building.
There's no one at the hospital, and after what has gone on Halloween night, this horrific incident is that she's not under a police guard.
Yeah, right.
There's no characters, right? It's just arbitrary hospital staff who are killing fodder for Michael Myers, right? And about the kills, right? So, did you notice about this? That all of the male kills were done extremely quickly, and all the female kills were far more laboured.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I didn't notice that at the time. Yeah. Halloween 2, it lingers on cliched pieces of plot as if they're brand new. There's a bit where these kids come up and say, they speak to Loomis and they say, hey, our friend, he's 17 years old and he's gone missing. He was wearing a silly mask, he was out trick-or-treating. And this is after the autopsy scene, when we've established that the kid who died was not Michael Myers, and then Donald Pleasance's like, 17. It's like, well, I mean, okay, we already joined the dots there. There's also a bit where Jamie Lee Curtis makes an absolute meal out of the fact that the phones are dead. And it's like, well, this is all pretty standard horror movie stuff, Jamie Lee. We all know where we're going.
What do you think of the kills in Halloween 2?
The kills were pretty shit. Mm-hmm. None of them particularly stick in my memory, apart from the idiotic one where apparently there's a hot tub somewhere in a hospital somewhere that can boil someone.
It's the sound. Okay, I really want to find redeeming features about Halloween 2, and I actually really liked what Alan Holworth did with the score, but it's just such a pity that he hasn't got a lot of imagery to combine that with. I mean, I was there sitting there going, look, please give me a really good shot of Michael Myers. I mean, there's one shot of Michael Myers coming into a certain section where there's red projecting on his William Shatner face, which I was like, oh, that's quite good. I feel that I've almost got some tension, but I didn't get any tension, because this film is all about introducing completely obtuse characters that haven't got any kind of meaning in the film, just to be fucking fodder for Michael Myers. Jamie Lee Curtis and Donald Pleasance, right, are really underused in this film.
In general, I think the pacing is all wrong. I think, Laurie Strode, Michael Myers, and Dr. Loomis aren't in the film for really long stretches of time. I think bordering on half an hour. Any one of those characters is not in the film, and you're like, why am I sat here watching? Like you said,
they're throwaway. Yeah. They're all throwaway inane characters. I mean, it's not even like the setup. There's a setup of like two of the lackeys, and she comes in and he goes, oh yeah, baby.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's cheese fest,
it's bordering on a porn movie.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no characterisation.
Yeah.
They're all just fodder for Michael Myers.
It's massively disjointed, and what makes it worse is that those scenes with those people who you don't really give a shit about because you know they're just being set up to be killed, they go on for, they really drag. They go on for ages.
It's boring.
I can't believe that the main characters in this film are barely in the film. So
but that's the crux of the problem. It's like there is just throwaway characters for kills, and the kills aren't even that good.
Right.
Okay, so you've got they're quite nasty, schlocky kind of kill, but there's no inventiveness. The only inventive kill in this is the scalpel lift, because you're kind of like, oh, that's quite So that's nasty, and he's also extremely strong. What do you think of the end of the film? Because the end of the film is where a lot of people got a lot of love for this film.
the final scene in the showers. Or are they in the showers with the canisters where?
Well, they're in the shower. They're I don't know if they're in the shower. They're in a kind of area where
he's slashing blindly. Yeah.
because he's been shot in the eye.
I didn't really think a whole lot of anything in the film, to be honest.
It's trying to emulate what the first was. It's purely a cash cow. They're trying to make money from it. I did not have any enjoyment from this film at all.
I was surprised by how much I disliked it, actually. And then there is a cryptic revelation that's later on in the film where it suggested that, as fans of the series will know, Jamie Lee Curtis's character is actually Michael Myers' sister. But that's delivered way too late. I think it would have been better if you knew that from the get-go, giving Michael Myers some kind of drive. I mean, it is something. It's so narratively bereft that you're just looking at these fucking inconsequential sequences happen, and then the character you've been looking at will disappear for half an hour, and you're just like, what even is this film about? I have no idea. And going back to the kills briefly, the issue I have with the kills is that the kills in the original film, on the whole, were not particularly sudden. And it seemed as if Michael Myers was almost toying with his victims, and he was enjoying the hunt. He was like an animal on the prowl, which made the whole thing more chilling. Here, he just appears, someone dies, that's the end of it. You get no sense of a sociopath scoping his prey out, taking them out, and that's it, which is what made the first film.
There's no hunting. There's no hunting. He just pops up, and then he pops into another scene,
and then someone's dead, and then move on.
Okay, right. Worth mentioning this is Carpenter stepped in post-production of this film.
Added some blood.
Yeah, he stepped in, and
I remember hearing that Rick Rosenthal hated the theatrical edit because John Carpenter just completely made it himself. I mean,
he was like, he directed something that was like no bloodshed, real tension, and all this. Yeah.
John Carpenter said that the Rick Rosenthal's version was not scary, and his version was more scary. But Rosenthal's version apparently is the TV version. And it's an incredibly long list. If you go online and look for,
there's tons of cuts. Yeah, tons of cuts. And there's like paragraphs.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people think that Rosenthal's version is the best. There's the better one.
But is that available?
It's the one most have seen. I don't know if you can get it.
Which one did you see?
I saw the Carpenter version. I saw the theatrical edit.
But how do we get hold of Rosenthal's version?
I'm sure you can. If you ever see it on TV, that's the version you're seeing. That's the TV
so the TV version is his version.
Rosenthal's cut, yeah. And a lot of fans say that that's way better. I don't have any problem believing that because things are in a different order. Read that list; it's interesting. I do want to see.
Well, no, I've scanned.
This is what makes me think. I wonder if the version that I saw that I thought was better than the first film was actually the Rosenthal version, because I was really impressed with that film. I mean, admittedly, I was a fucking kid who didn't know jack shit, but people who have very, very positive words to say about this film.
The reason that Rosenthal got the gig is that he made a short film called Toya, which Carpenter was blown away by. That's how he got the directing gig in this film.
Toya, I've never heard that. Yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely aware of how bad these movies got because I've only seen the first 4 and H2O, but this is not totally awful. There is a slight element of class about it, but yeah, Halloween 2, a complete washout.
Yeah, it's derivative. Let's crack on and look at Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers.
Right.
10 years after his original massacre, Michael Myers escapes while being transferred to Smithgrove Hospital and goes back to Haddonfield to hunt his only living relative. Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers.
10 years ago, on the night of October 31st, A small Midwestern town fell victim to an escaped killer. Under the cover of darkness, he carried out the most horrifying mass murder on record. 16 people in cold blood. Ever since that night, no one has forgotten his name. And Halloween has never been the same. Now, Michael Myers has come home. He has returned for one more night of unholy terror.
Michael! Somebody help me! He's here to kill that little girl and anybody who gets in his way.
Oh, God.
Who's gonna be next?
Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers.
Maybe nobody knows how to stop him.
So, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. Chet, have you seen it before?
No, I'm surprised that it has any kind of cult status. Although it does, I mean, among fans, this is regarded as a genuinely good film. I thought it was pretty abominable, really. The opening, there's a really spooky opening. The sort of shots of the decrepit old Halloween costumes, and there's morbid. Everything's damp. The skies are grey. Great atmosphere.
Title sequence is bad.
Yeah, it's really good. I was just like,
Title sequence is bad.
yeah.
As in,
Yeah.
down with the kids.
When it started with that bit, I was just like, this is going to be really good, and then it goes fucking straight down the toilets.
I had a really negative opinion of it when I saw it when I was 12. It's not a great film, but there are things in it, because I've seen a lot of the Halloween films. Right? Now we're comparing this to Halloween 2. Halloween 2, Donald Pleasance is not given a lot of screen time. He is given loads of screen time, and he is really genuinely great in this film. They don't try and kind of, like, the characters didn't really respect what Dr. Loomis was saying in the second film. It was just kind of hubbub. It didn't make any sense. What you need to put in context with this film is that there was a writer's strike in 1987, which meant there was nobody available, and they had to cobble this together in 11 days, right? Which is quite miraculous that it actually turned out to be coherent. And this absolutely aces Halloween 2. The locations are better. 2 doesn't do anything in terms of tension, nothing, right? Halloween 4 genuinely has moments where you do fear for that small child. You know, there's a rooftop sequence of her getting attacked and getting chased, right? They do 2 great chase sequences, and the final shot is chilling. It's rejuvenating a franchise that was laying dormant for 7 years. So hats off to that. It absolutely fucking schools number 2.
I like the opening over the credit. The opening shot.
You like the title sequence?
Yeah. Just the incredibly spooky old Halloween decorations. Just morbid and weird, and everything's damp. The skies are grey, etc. Lots of atmosphere. I thought this is going to be an atmospheric film.
You're talking about 2.5 minutes.
Not even 2.5 minutes. I reckon it's probably closer to 30 seconds. But the film is just the same formulaic. You know, the one thing that I really had an issue with is the cinematography. The cinematography is way too bright. It looks like TV in that sense, because everything is beautifully lit and everything looks completely indistinct from everything else. Even in comparison to the second film, which still had Dean Cundy's cinematography, and darkness and shadows was still a part of what the film was trying to do. This is all. It looks like television. Even when the kids are out trick or treating, it looks like daytime. Everything is.
No, I never felt any sense of dread in Halloween 2. There's like 3 or 4 times where you're like, oh, Can they get away? The rooftop sequence is done really well.
I'm surprised you say that because the rooftop sequence made me laugh out loud. Just because if you're trying to create a terrifying movie monster that you want your audience to fear, don't have him daintily trying to manoeuvre his way across a slanted tile roof, making sure that he doesn't fall over. Because when I saw Michael Myers trying to make sure that he didn't tumble off a side,
he was solid, mate. The thing is, right? He was gravy, right?
The face-off scene between Donald Pleasance's character and Michael Myers, the first time they meet in that diner, and he sees him in the doorway, he says, "Why now? Why now?" And they walk up. God damn you! And he goes and shoots him, and he shoots, and then he pulls his gun away and he looks. Where did he go? But he knows where he would have gone because he never stopped looking at him. But the camera cuts back. Oh look, he's not there anymore. But the whole time we spent time looking.
Half his face has been melted off.
Did you think this was too influenced by Nightmare on Elm Street? There were way too many waking nightmare scenes, and the Freddy films were so prevalent at that point in time. They milked that device over and over again, and when you kept, I think it was 3 points in this film, somebody has like a waking nightmare, and you're like, wow, this seems like a Freddy film almost. Did you not think the mask looked awful?
No, not at all.
It's just a black because they couldn't get obviously.
The mask looked worse than the second film.
Well, yeah, because the
for
mask,
me it looks exactly the same.
One's got features, the other one doesn't.
They're both like William Shatner.
No, they don't. The white one doesn't. The Halloween 4 doesn't. Anyway, look.
Dude, I just enjoyed Halloween 4 much more than 2. The end of this film has so much more heft than Halloween 2.
It has fuck all heft. This film has no heft. The end of this has fuck all heft.
You're wrong. Go back and watch an hour and a half in hospital where nothing happens.
Halloween 4 is a film made by a filmmaker who doesn't have any interest in the horror genre. It's written by somebody who appears to be writing an action film. It is not a film.
I'd much rather sit down and watch Halloween 4 than Halloween 2.
I'd rather
see somebody trying to be inventive of a franchise that was left dormant.
No, there's no.
Oh, do you think Halloween 2 was?
No, I don't. But
you prefer Halloween 2 to Halloween 4?
Yes.
Well, I don't. The child becomes the killer.
That is a shit.
No. Better than anything.
Oh no.
Oh
shit! By the way, the child's a killer. How did we get there? How did the narrative get?
There's so much more. I'd rather, honestly, if I was.
By the way, the child's a killer.
If I was on a desert island, I would never want to see Halloween 2 again. At least Halloween 4 is trying to do something different.
No, it isn't. It's trying to do nothing different. It's trying to do the same thing, only less interesting.
So are you telling me that you'd rather sit in a hospital for an hour with no kills, no decent kills, no jump scares?
Where were the decent kills in Halloween 4?
There's loads of decent kills in Halloween 4. We do a whole podcast.
You know there was. Okay, so just to summarise my thoughts about Halloween 4, I thought Daniel Harris was excellent, but it was overlit. Unintentionally funny. The action was badly staged. I didn't really like anything about this. It felt like a Friday the 13th film.
Donald Pleasance given far more screen time. Fantastic. It's a prequel and a sequel. It does so much more than number 2. And what a chilling final sequence. Absolutely schools number 2.
I think pretty much in every department, Halloween 2 is a better film than Halloween 4. Halloween 4 was a depressing experience, a TV movie, a film made by a filmmaker who doesn't have any interest in horror, doesn't seem to have any interest in the character of Michael Myers, in the legacy of the original Halloween.
How can you actually say that when there is nothing in the second film?
They're both shit films.
No, but don't just don't. Halloween 2 is a lazy shit cash-in.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
at least 4 tries to build on that legacy and do something.
No, it doesn't. It does nothing. And the ending where, oh, by the way, that little girl who's been terrified the whole thing, she's a killer.
It's not
rubbish. That is rubbish.
It's not, by the way.
That's rubbish.
You're going to have a better time sitting down with Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, than you would in Halloween 2. Halloween 2 is depressing. These are not great movies, right?
You're going to have a bad time if you go with either of these films, I think. I think they're both pretty terrible.
Yeah, but you need to find the good.
Halloween 4.
Halloween 2 is shite. It's shite. It's shite and it's cheap and it's
every single thing you say about Halloween 2 is absolutely true of Halloween 4.
And
It's cynical and it's a cash-in. Yeah, and it's shite. All of those things are true of Halloween 4. Absolutely the same thing.
I'm not watching Halloween 2 ever again. Ever.
Me neither.
Well, it sounds like you love it.
I ain't watching any Halloween film after this. Hello, it's now 3 weeks after we recorded what you've just listened to. It's probably very evident that we probably shouldn't have recorded that podcast. Basically, to cut a long story short, me and Nick hadn't seen each other for a while. We caught up, had a meal, had a few beers, and then wham, it was 11 o'clock at night, and anyone sensible would have thought, we'll record this tomorrow, but we didn't. And believe it or not, what you just heard, 20-25 minutes or so, is actually abbreviated from a 4.5 hour long recording, most of which was drunk and shouting. So
codeine and rum are not a good match.
No, definitely not. But basically, nothing's changed. We still do not agree. So what we're going to do in a minute is call the Austinator, who is our adjudicator. Who is the Austinator?
Austin, the Austinator, is an old friend whose knowledge of cult films came to light in a long, heavy session at a pub in Kinsale in Ireland when we invented a drinking game called You Have Never Seen, with an aggressive finger being pointed at the other person. And through playing this game through a whole afternoon at a pub sinking Guinness, I came to the conclusion that, the boy knows his shit.
Right, okay, good. Well, he's going to basically choose, we're going to present the two films, we're not going to tell him ahead of time, we're going to just give him the two film titles and then he's going to pick which one he thinks is better. So it's either going to be his opinion, or if he hasn't seen the two films, which is possible, it's going to be the equivalent of a coin toss and he's just going to pick one, and that'll be that. But before we do that, because Halloween 4 didn't get much of a shake on that audio, I've got a couple of bullet points, notes that I made that I just wanted to get out of the way, just to try and strengthen my point. I mean, they're just sort of mentions of scenes, really. Do you remember that scene with the priest, where Pleasance is in that car with the priest, and they start singing? The drunk priest. So out of left field, completely didn't work. You thought that was good?
I didn't mind that.
Oh, really? Okay.
No, I think the whole thing about Halloween 4 is that there is lots of sequences in there that are quite campy and are quite off the wall and off kilter, and that's not to its detriment.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the thumb in the head kill. I mean, that's daft as anything, and the shotgun kill. He kills someone by shoving a shotgun through their stomach. I mean, that's cornball stuff. That's cornball kills.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. There's also the bit when the local barflies. It's like something out of a Frank Capra film where they all mob together and they go. And one of the young guys says, "Oh, I saw Michael Myers a little while ago down by the old farmhouse or something." Something he says. So these guys go there. They kill an innocent man, thinking it was Michael Myers. And at first I was like, "That's fucking stupid." But the more I thought about it, the more I thought, I bet that bears relation to real life way more than anyone realises. Because some plucky kid wants to impress everybody, and then they go and shoot an innocent man. So actually, that's one element of the film that I thought was good. Michael Myers doesn't walk with any purpose. He walks like a zombie. He doesn't seem dangerous, particularly in Halloween 4.
I think in Halloween 4 he's a bit too chubby. He's not as svelte or as slender as he is in Halloween 1 and 2. I noticed that he'd packed on some pounds being in that coma.
Is the guy who played him a bit chunkier? I didn't notice that.
He's definitely chunkier.
Oh, right, okay, I didn't notice that. Maybe that's why it is. He doesn't. He hasn't got. He's carrying.
He just hasn't got the dexterity when he's had that too many fucking donuts.
Maybe. And then the only other note I've got is something that really bothered me. There's an action scene, which is another indication of how badly directed it is. Michael Myers jumps on the back of a truck and he kills two men in hand-to-hand combat while a third is just sat on the truck looking forward.
He doesn't notice at all what's going on. But they are quite loud and rickety though.
But that's direction so callous and disinterested that genuinely that could have been the work of Edward D. Wood Jr. And that again, that's another thing. But so the same points apply.
Just to surmise what I thought of 2 and 4. 2. As I repeatedly, I'm sure I said, it is a cash-in. It is a husk of a movie. What aggravates most about it is that it just riffs on a truly brilliant original film. Yes, the cinematography is done well. It looks good, but there's just nothing in there. It's completely empty. Halloween 4, it's just a lot more fun. I was more entertained.
It's pacey, I'll give it that. I like the fact that it was a little bit pacey, number 4, but I think they're both shit films. But
and she's great, little child actress.
Danielle Harris
is really great as well.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm not going to shed too many tears if the Austinator doesn't go my way, but let's give him a call then. We are going to hand it over to our adjudicator, the Austinator.
Eliminator with the Austinator.
Austinator. So we've given you a call because we are at a loggerheads here. We have 2 films and we need to decide a victor. First up, we have Halloween 2 versus Halloween 4. Talk to me.
Okay, this should be called Crap Sequel Face-Off. Halloween, the original, a John Carpenter masterpiece. Now, everything else subsequently has been poor.
True that.
Halloween 2. Now, if my memory serves me correctly, you got Donald Pleasance in it. You've got Jamie Lee Curtis in it. So for me, it's still quite true to the original. I think, if I'm right in assuming that Carpenter, I think he wrote it and probably produced it. I'm pretty sure he didn't direct it, though.
That's correct on that.
Okay.
Jamie Lee Curtis is only in it. She features in screen time less than 2 minutes.
Yes, I remember. And that was one of the first sort of films, I think, the sequel, where I think she was quite heavily featured in all the trailers and stuff, so trying to gain the momentum of the first one. I remember it being a lot more schlocky than the first one, which was more subtle, less gore and stabbing, and it kind of turned this Michael Myers character into the kind of cartoony character that I think we all come to know and love. Now, Halloween 4, now hang on, let me get this right. 3, I remember, was an absolute car crash. So
Season of the Witch.
Yes.
He's not in it.
No. Well, that's it. Wasn't it? He was meant to be there in some sort of like mental capacity, or he was the spirit of him was somewhere. It didn't work on any level. Halloween 4. Now is that the mental asylum one?
No, it starts off with him being transferred.
And doesn't he escape or something?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. I don't know why you've chosen these two at the Halloween.
One of our listeners has requested for us to pit these two against each other.
Your listener is is a wonderful character. I'm surprised that no one's mentioned the 20-year sequel from the original, which was Halloween H20 or H2O, which I think is probably worth mentioning because it's got LL Cool J.
Right, absolutely. Lady Loves Cool J.
Exactly. And Michelle Dudar. Yeah,
I remember enjoying that.
Yeah, so did I. I think I took a date at the time to see it on Halloween because, I'm the old romantic. So let me get this right. So Halloween 4, that's also got Donald Pleasance in, doesn't it?
It has.
But any film that features Donald Pleasance, is up there with cult status anyway. From my initial gut reaction, I would say it's got to be 2. I don't know. I just think that we went through that stage in the 80s, especially, of all these kind of dragged out sequels, things like The Omen and Friday the 13th and obviously the Nightmare on Elm Street. So for me personally, I think these mid-tier, mid-canon films, they kind of got lost amongst other bigger franchises, I think. But so for me, the second in the series for Halloween, I think, has got to take it because it still had the momentum of the fantastic first Halloween, and I just feel by the third one ruined it for a lot of fans who then wouldn't get back into the franchise for the fourth one and subsequent ones. So for me, I've just got to say, I think they're both terrible films. Let me make this perfect.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
They're absolute, and I haven't seen either of them for 10 years, I'm sure. But I would presume they're probably close to unwatchable at the moment. If one was to sit down now, apart from laughing at how badly some of the acting and some of it's made, I don't know if it would still have the effect. Am I wrong? Both of you have seen these films far more recently than I have.
Well, I plumped for 4.
You went for 4,
and Chet went for 2.
Okay,
and we were not agreeing.
Okay.
So
I think you need to go, and I think this needs to be settled with like a.
You settled it.
H2O.
You've settled it. Oh, sorry. Go on.
No. Well, I said if you want to meet some sort of agreement, you could always. Compare the other Halloween films together, but I think from my memory, which usually serves me quite well, that the second one is probably a slightly better film, but it's not in the same league as the original, and both of them sully the memory. I don't know how involved Carpenter was on the fourth one. He didn't direct it, did he?
I don't think yet.
No, I don't even know if he had a producer or writing credit on it. But for me, I've got to say the second one. But again, terrible films. Both of them. Unwatchable pap. But saying that, if I had to pick and choose, it's got to be the second, I'm afraid.
Eliminated with the Austinator.
Okay, so there we have it. Halloween 2 is better than Halloween 4. I feel slightly bad about that because
you're wrong.
When we announced that that we were going to do this episode, you can tell there's so much love for Halloween 4 online, and there wasn't much interest in the fact that we were pairing it with Halloween 2.
I rest my case.
So I feel bad in that sense, but I do think that the best film won. But if you've got beef, then take it up with the Austinator.
Yeah, well, also, we'd love to hear what your leave comments, let us know what you think.
Yeah, indeed. But yeah, thank you very much for listening. Next episode, we're going to be staying with horror movies. We're going to look at Jason Lives, Friday the 13th Part 6 versus Halloween. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. And after that, we're going to be looking at sort of two kings from the straight-to-DVD era, Mark Dacascos and Olivier Gruner. It's going to be Nemesis versus Drive. Thank you very much for listening. If you want to help us out, subscribing on iTunes, subscribing on YouTube, that really helps us out. We're also on all sorts of other podcast apps and whatnot. YouTube is these episodes paired with visuals from the film, if you want to sort of take a look at those. There's also Inane, if you want to see a really shit look like of Leonardo DiCaprio and Peter Jackson's Brain Dead, stuff like that's on there as well.
Uncanny.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
Cult Film Face-Off.